Good evening. My name is Terry Bollinger, and I'm the president of your Zane Grey's West Society. I would like to welcome you to our 2020 Zane Grey's West Society Convention, virtually, of course. As you know, the officers and board of directors of the Society have canceled the in-person convention that would have been held in Cooperstown, New York, at about approximately this same time. We were extremely disappointed to have to cancel the convention for the first time in our history, but we're confident this was the right decision. But we wanted to take the opportunity to get together in some fashion, and we decided on a virtual convention. A virtual convention actually gives us the opportunity to reach some members that haven't attended a convention before to participate in some of our activities. Hopefully by now, many of you have had an opportunity to watch Kristen Atwell's documentary on the making of the Rainbow of Riders of the Purple Sage opera. Let me take a moment to express our admiration and our gratitude to Kristen and Craig Boemler, the creator of the opera, and the opera itself for their efforts that expand the Zane Grey universe. Also, hopefully you've had a chance to view the video of Alan Pratt's wonderful presentation. We'll give everyone an opportunity to discuss the presentation and ask any questions on Monday evening. Rosanne Bruchtman has provided a video highlighting past conventions and the memories of members that we've lost over the years. Ed Meyer has provided a guide to researching Zane Grey and has provided multiple examples of items that the Society has acquired in the interest of furthering research on Zane Grey. Wednesday is movie night. We're asking everyone to watch the movie Man of the Forest. As Jim Dark says, it's not one of the better made Zane Grey movies, but this title is the theme of the convention, plus 2020 is the centennial year for Man of the Forest. We hope to have a discussion Wednesday evening. Then on Thursday, we'll have 2 live Zoom sessions. The first will be a book discussion on Man of the Forest coordinated by John Sanders, and the second will be hosted by Todd Newport and will discuss collecting Zane Grey. We're asking those that attend to display some of their prized collectibles for everyone to enjoy. Then we'll close the convention. We hope many members will participate, and we hope that those that do will have some patience with us. We're doing things we've never done before, but attempting to make this a fun and an enjoyable experience for all. Now, one of the advantages of this format is that we have the opportunity to introduce your officers and board of directors in person. You will hear from all of the officers and the directors who will introduce themselves with a short bio. I'll start with me. I joined the Society in 1988 and attended my first convention in 1990 at Fort Davis, Texas. I have made every convention since. When I first told my wife, Bobby, that I wanted to go to the Fort Davis convention, she said, "What?" But now she loves going as well. She loves the people and she loves the amazing places we have gone for conventions. I took over the presidency in 2009 from Todd Newport after serving several years as vice president. I live in Erie, Colorado, just north of Denver. Bobby and I have lived in Colorado since 1980, moving here from Texas. We love Texas and miss Texas, but it's too hot there. Now, let me introduce the Society Vice President, Ed Meyer. Your turn, Ed.
My name's Ed Meyer. I'm the Vice President of Zane Grey West Society. I live in Florence, Arizona with my wife, Kathy. I retired from the state of Utah in 2005 after 30 years working for the governor, helping Indian tribes and small rural communities. My wife, after I retired, gave me a full collection of the Walter Black novels because she knew that I liked Zane Grey. And as I read them, I learned that Zane Grey actually was a friend of a lot of Latter-day Saints of faith, to which I joined as well. So I called Joe Wheeler and asked him some questions, and he encouraged me to join and come to a convention, which I did in 2008. And I attended my first convention in 2009 in Mormon Lake. Within the society, I am the marketing director. I work a lot on research, trying to encourage better access to the research institutions around the world that have Zane Grey collections. I write articles for the society. I've written 2 books of my own, one of which is about Jim Emmett, Zane Grey's friend. And that's pretty much my story. So I'd like to turn the time over to our Secretary Treasurer, Cheryl Hodapp.
Hi, I'm Cheryl. I'm talking to you from Pleasanton, California. I just moved and I'm in my new apartment, loving it here. I joined the society in 2002 at the Oklahoma Convention. My mom and dad, Jackie and Phil Lawrence, were active members of the society. That year was my mother's 80th birthday, and because she would not stay home, my sister Deborah and I went to the convention and joined the society. We spent many years working on the auction together, and in 2010, I became your secretary-treasurer. I've enjoyed doing the job, and I believe I got it because I accidentally told Terry that I was a database coordinator in my work. So I love the society, I love the people, and I am happy to be here. Let me introduce you now to Todd Newport, our past president.
All right, thanks, Cheryl. My name is Todd Newport, and I'm the past president. That's my role on the board, and I've been in this role for 11 years. That's how long Terry has been president. And so prior to that, I was the president of the society for 14 years. So that takes us back to 1995. I became a member of Zane Grey West Society in about 1989, I believe, and attended my first convention in 1991 in Kanab, Utah. Had such a good time and enjoyed everybody so much that I was already planning to go to the next convention. I wasn't sure going in, but coming out, I was really happy to be there and looking forward to each and every one after that. So it's been a lot of fun conventions for me and my family. My son Cody was, he's my older son, he's 32 now. He was 3 years old at that first convention in Kanab. So he kind of grew up with everybody, and he went to all the conventions as a young person and really enjoyed being there and participating in different events that were going on. So, and all the traveling that we did was really fun. My younger son Connor was born in '96, and he attended a convention that year in '96 and quite a few conventions after that. So he also really enjoyed that, and he's 24 years old now. My wife Kathy and I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and we like to hike and we like to camp and explore the area and travel as much as we can. I also enjoy hunting and book collecting, and the book collecting is part of what got me interested in the Zane Grey West Society, all the auctions that we had that I could find those rare items that I was looking for. My favorite book is Tales of Lonely Trails, a nonfiction book that takes you to a lot of these very interesting, unique locations that I've had the great opportunity to visit most of them, and there's still a few in that book that I haven't been to that I want to check out. And so it's real fun to read through. The descriptions in that book are just fantastic. So at this point, I'd like to introduce Director Christy Abney up in Montana, and take it away, Christy.
Hello, I am Christy Abney, coming to you from Kalispell, Montana. I have been with the Society since 2011 when we came to the Williamsburg Convention. And prior to that, my husband had been a member of the Zane Grey West Society for a number of years. He had found the site while looking on the internet and had become a member, but it wasn't until 2011 that we actually attended our first convention. We've not missed one since. I really do miss the fact that we can't come to Cooperstown this year, but I will see you in Tucson, Arizona next year. And now I would just like to introduce Alan Pratt.
Hello, Alan Pratt, calling from, or checking in from Florida. Probably only a couple of people out here who are part of the Zane Grey West Society in Florida now, and I've been here for about 30 years. I live in a place called Ormond Beach, which is on the Atlantic coast, and interestingly enough, Zane Grey talks about Ormond Beach and the Call of the Canyon. The only place he ever mentions Florida after his repeated visits here. I do believe he may have stayed in Ormond Beach, and I'm still trying to find information about that. Anyway, I've been here for about 30 years. I was raised in California, and I've been a member of the Zane Grey organization, Zane Grey's West Society, since 2012. That was at the convention in Provo. I was reading a novel one night, and I was just curious about where was Zane Grey. It was called The Last of the Plainsmen, and it launched a whole new direction in my life. And I've attended all the Zane Grey conventions since then, met some interesting people, made good friends, and visited places I never would have considered visiting before. I also wanted to mention I'm a proud recipient of the Charles Pfeiffer Award for Scholarship with Zane Grey. I've written a little bit about Zane Grey myself. I'm interested in his experiences on the North Rim of the Grand Canyon, for example. And that's about it. This is our first virtual convention, as Terry mentioned. I'd like to welcome you. We'll see how it goes. Now, I'd like to introduce our newest member of the board. That is Director John Sanders.
Hello, I would like to welcome everyone to the first virtual convention of the Zane Grey's West Society also. My name is John Sanders. I think I'm a nominee for the board of directors. Anyhow, I'm a retired English teacher with 35 years of experience at the secondary level. I've also taught a few courses, including two about Zane Grey in the continuing education department at the University of Utah. I live in Salt Lake City along the western edge of the Wasatch Mountains, or the Wasatch Front as the locals call it. I first discovered Grey's novels at age 12 when one of my sisters gave me a copy of The Lone Star Ranger for Christmas. I was hooked from the first page and went on to read most of Grey's Western novels by the time I was 20. And even though my career as an English teacher has acquainted me with many of the great writers of the world, Grey still holds a special place in my personal pantheon of favorites. I became a member of the Zane Grey's West Society in 1985 when I attended my first convention in Zanesville, Ohio. Since then, I've attended many, but not all, of the conventions, and I'm grateful to the Society for the fellowship of other ZG aficionados and scholars. So now I'd like to turn it over to Rosanne Bruchtman.
Hi, this is Rosanne Bruchtman, and I'd like to invite everyone to join us for our virtual convention this year. We hope you'll all be able to join us for our in-person convention, which we hope to have next year in Tucson, Arizona. I should tell you that I consider myself as having a low boredom threshold. I have 5 degrees and have had 4 careers, and I'm now doing as much as possible writing. I've got 5 books underway at this point. I've got 4 that have already been published. So we try to keep busy, off the streets and out of trouble. I should tell you also that I've been a member of Zane Grey's West Society since 2008. That was the Glacier Convention. I have loved Zane Grey since I started reading him at 12 years old. My mother loved Zane Grey, my grandfather loved Zane Grey, and after I started reading him, I wanted to read all of them and over and over again. Then many decades later, when the internet came along and I found Zane Grey's West Society online, and they were having their Glacier Convention, Glacier National Park, that was in 2008. And I went up there really just to see what was going on, and also as just sort of a vacation. It was going to be a one and done, go once and now you've done it, you don't have to do that again. Well, I've had 11 in a row now, and this is our virtual version thereof. So we're all experimenting to see how this goes. But we hope to do more of this because we think that more people will be able to join us in this, by this means, including our members and friends who are in other parts of the world. We do have international members as well. I can tell you that the conventions are the reason to go, most of all, to attend, to become a member. That's the reason I came and the reason I stayed. We have wonderful pre- and post-convention locations that we attend, go to together, and it's not planned. You plan your own around, but you're going with your society friends. And those have been wonderful. We go many places that I could have gone by myself, but I wouldn't have gone by myself. So it's really nice to have other people that you really enjoy being with to go with you. I want to introduce now Dr. Joe Wheeler. Joe is our co-founder of the society. He's been here since the beginning, and he is also the historian of the group. He carries the history of the entire society with him, and he is an expert on Zane Grey, as are a number of our people who are part of the society as well. So we hope you enjoy hearing from Dr. Joe Wheeler. Thank you.
I'm Joe Wheeler, Executive Director of the Society. Connie and I currently live in Littleton, Colorado. We moved down here about a year ago. And we welcome each of you who are listening in today. My trajectory through to Gray began at Vanderbilt University in 1968 to 1975, and I finished the doctoral dissertation on Zane Grey in 75. And then with GM Farley, I published the Zane Grey's West magazine starting in 1980. In 1983, Ronald Reagan was president, and the Union was struggling through the third year of a recession. And it wasn't easy for Connie or me either. We were then living in Keene, Texas, a small community about 30 miles south of Fort Worth. And I was director of cultural affairs and the adult degree program at Southwestern Adventist University at that time. And on the side, I was publishing the Zane Grey's West magazine. And it was GM Farley of Hagerstown, Maryland, who had mentored me into Zane Grey in the early days of my involvement with the Old West. And now we were in the trenches together because he was serving as co-editor of Zane Grey's West. And, but there was a problem, and it was the same problem that Farley had had when he was publishing the Zane Grey Collector earlier on. And that is that with every issue, we were going further in the hole. And I was beginning to panic. And I asked GM, what should we do? We finally turned to the ultimate source of all wisdom and prayed for guidance. One day, a possible solution was suggested. On the western frontier, settlers, when they were surrounded by enemies, had a standard procedure. They would circle the wagons and fight for their lives. Well, Farley and I decided that this is about as close to a disaster as our lives would have financially. And so we sent out communiques to all of the subscribers to our magazine and said, come to Keene, Texas on a certain day, and we need you. We need to strategize with you. We have some problems we need to work out. So on June 21, 1983, 30 Zane Grey devotees descended on us from 12 states: Arizona, California, Georgia, Illinois, Iowa, Kentucky, Maryland, Massachusetts, Nevada, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas. That 4-day convention concluded on June 25. And by that time, 30 strangers had become 30 friends. And the Zane Grey's West Society was born. And these were our first 4 officers. Gene Hafner was elected president, Cliff Ford, vice president, Mildred Payden, secretary treasurer, and Joe Wheeler, me, executive director. In order to shore up our finances, we held an auction and organized a committee of 100 and a foundation. We learned together, strategized together, ate together, socialized together, took field trips together, and were hosted by the famed Amon Carter Western Library and Art Gallery. Most significant of all attendees made it clear that from that moment on, we didn't need to worry about the bills. The society would take care of those from then on. GM Farley and I spent a lot of time strategizing before we organized the society. If we created it, the big question is, what would we want it to be like? I'll never forget GM's first words on that, saying, Joe, I'd rather it not be born at all if it would be like most of the other organizations that I belong. At those conventions, you see a few clusters of people who are obviously friends, and the rest of the people are just standing around looking lonely. And you could see it in their eyes. They're thinking, if only there were people that are here looking for me. And GM said, unless we can somehow create an organization with no lonely people, I don't want to have us created at all. So that was a tall order. How do you not have any lonely people? And as we were racking our brains and thinking of every kind of literary tie-in that came to us, I thought of Edwin Markham's iconic Outwitted, which reads, he drew a circle that shut me out, heretic, rebel, a thing to flout. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. And it has worked. No lonely people in our society. Those who are alone are invariably invited to join other groups and made to feel welcome. It's a beautiful thing to watch and see how great a difference one little poem has made in our society. Because one of the last things that Farley told me before he died, he says, Joe, it's amazing the difference that poem has made. The members of our society are closer to each other than most of the people in the churches that I preach at. And to GM, that was a very high type of praise. GM and I also discussed the kind of conventions we might have. First of all, we had been to too many conventions that were boring, so we'd want to make them all interesting to all age groups. We'd take them to places that we might not otherwise see. We'd go to scenic locales that would serve as springboards to other places that we'd like to travel to. We'd hold yearly auctions that would not only raise money for the society, but would enable each member to build a Zane Grey library. And all of that has made the society what it has become. But without question, it is the friendships that we have made that really has cemented the society to be such close friends. If you're one of these society members that has not yet attended an actual convention, and most of our members have not, I would like to personally invite you, the next convention, not a virtual one, but the next real convention, I'd like to invite you to try us out, join with us, and see if you agree that it's a pretty neat group of people to be part of. And it's a joy to work with you. I hope you're enjoying our magazines, and I really hope to see you at one of our conventions.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, all the directors and officers. And at this point, we're going to close out this session, and we'll ask everybody to attend the virtual convention events as they come up. And I'll be sending out emails reminding everybody what the event is for the next day. So enjoy, have fun, and give us any feedback on that. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.